Hello everybody and welcome back. I haven't been able to get around to doing card reviews for a while, and a lot of the cards are coming out, and I think tomorrow is a reveal stream, so I've got a lot of cards to cover today and tomorrow. Here's the thing. I'm really drunk right now. Delicious. So this is going to be a really interesting card review because, I mean, who reviews cards in Hearthstone while they're drunk? Me, that's who, and that's why you're subscribed to this YouTube channel. Let's get to the cards. Bam. No. Wrong button. Bam. Did it. First card we're talking about is Fellord Betrug, 8 mana, 5/7 demon for Warlock. Whenever you draw a minion, summon a copy with Rush that dies at the end of turn. That's really cool. It sort of does this whole, like, draw token sort of thing, where it's like, you play this, and it costs 8, so you can't really do a whole lot of drawing on the turn you play it, but, like, But you could, like, on turn 10, you play it, and then you use your hero power, you draw a minion, and you summon it, you rush, and you throw it into something. So, I don't know, it works for, like, token stuff, but I actually think it sort of builds, it sort of proposes a big Warlock, which isn't something that's never been done before. And I think would be really cool, a big Warlock thing. Maybe in Wild would be better, because, like, we got, like, Malygos and not Malygos, Mal'Ganis! He's a turtle. But, like, big stuff like that for Warlock with this would be cool. So a big Warlock with this would, I think, be better than a token one. Token one still works, but throwing little 1 mana stuff that, I mean, fair enough, you get it for free. So, like, you hear power, you get, like, a little stop copying me, and you can throw a little 2/2 into it, and then later on you can play the 2/2 and it makes another 2/2. So you can do that. It's fine. It's understated, but, you know, the effect is pretty neat, being able to get basically multiples of new minions. Yeah, if there was any way that you could mana save on Warlock, this would be a lot better, but you can't, so, it's just sort of okay. Next, the Hecklebot. 4 mana, 3/8 with mech, 3/8 mech with Taunt. Battlecry, your opponent summons a minion from their deck. This is sort of like the, that one Taunt minion that countered combos, you know, the rat dude. It was a 2/8, wasn't it, with Taunt? But it's sort of like that, only for the new meta. I think that's a good idea, because this meta is really seeming to be sort of like combo-y stuff. The problem with it is that a lot of the new combos, like Hakar, are death rattles, so it's a little harder to counter that with a you know, pull it out of your deck, because that just counters battle cries. It doesn't counter death rattles. So, you know, I could definitely see it being played, because that one was played a whole lot. This is around the same sort of thing. I do also like that it's a mech, so Mech Warrior could use it to not only use its effect effectively, but then can also magnetic onto it. And it's a taunt, and it's a 4 mana taunt too, which is great for Mech Warriors. It's actually great for Paladins too. Mech Paladin did see a little bit of play. So, you know, Mech Paladin, Mech Warrior could do it. Or, you know, anyone can do it for the effect, although less so because of Hakar. Next, the Walking Fountain. 8 mana, 4/8 elemental with Lifesteal, Rush, and Wind Fury. Holy crap. That's pretty cool. That's awesome. You play it, and it can attack immediately, and it's got Wind Fury. So you attack 2 things with it, and it's got Lifesteal. That's a whole lot of life generation and a whole lot of damage. It's like it's actually comparable to Alakir, which makes it weird that it's a common. So, I mean, Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. The fact that it's elemental is completely inconsequential because elemental warlock, elemental shaman didn't really take off. I liked elemental shaman myself, but sorry, my head's going everywhere. That's just what I'm like when I'm drunk. When I'm not playing a game and have to focus, I don't have to focus. I can just sort of think, so I can go wee. But yeah, I like Walking Fountain. Elemental Shaman never really worked, but there is good synergy, and the life recovery with the Wind Fury and the Rush it's just so good. Like, I like that a lot. If you can buff it too, which I know Shaman can do with elementals, I think I think this card is good. I mean, the only real downside to it is that it costs 8, so there's no real combos you can do it right away. But you don't need to because it has Rush and Wind Fury. So if you just need some life, you just throw it out, bam, bam, and then maybe it even survives afterward, and you can buff it afterwards. So I think it's good. Next, Muckmorpher, Shaman card, 5 mana, 4/4, Battlecry, transform my 4/4. Transform into a 4/4 copy of a different minion in your deck. It's good if you've got Hakar or some similar Death Rattle stuff. This sort of goes into an idea of a sort of Death Rattle Shaman, which doesn't make any sense right now. There aren't nearly enough Death Rattle stuff for Shaman. It's a neat idea, though. If we see more stuff for, like, a Death Rattle Shaman, I'd be down for that. It really feels like they're trying to, like, shift a whole bunch of stuff. Like, they had Heal Priest, now we're going Heal Druid. We had Dragon Priest, now we're going Paladin, Dragon Paladin. We had Token Druid, now we're going back to Token Warlock. Token Warlock was a thing before Token Druid was. But, like, it sort of traded, and now it's trading back. And so the idea of a Death Rattle Shaman, you know, I'm perfectly fine with that. We'd need a lot more cards for it, though. This is just sort of a okay sort of card. We need, 3 more cards and a win condition, and we don't have any of those. But I'd be up for it. Next, Commander Risa. 3 mana, 4/3. Your secrets trigger twice. Holy crap, Secret Paladin is coming back, boys. I hated Secret Paladin, but you know what? It's been gone for long enough. We could see a little resurgence. We had the attempt of a resurgence way back in Witchwood, and it didn't really work. This is the sort of card that we needed, and it's completely busted in OP. I think it's awesome. The main downside to it is that its health is low for the effect, so you'd want to play it late game with a trigger, which doesn't really work with secrets. So you'd want to protect this somehow. You'd want to buff the crap out of it. So it may not be super viable, but the fact that it's there will make people want to try it, I think. I think it's going to be the kind of card that is really, really good at launch, and then it fades away, and then near the tail end of the expansion, someone's going to make a meta deck with it, and it's going to be OP as crap. So, I think that is I think that's the destiny for this card. It's going to be cool. I like the Dalaran Mech Strider that she's got. I think that's cool. I want one of those in World of Warcraft. I want that. Next, Rave's Frost Mage. 1 mana twin spell, freeze a minion. If it's already frozen, deal 2 damage to it. I like it. It's pretty good. Freeze mage is a thing. Combo mage is a thing. Spell power mage is a thing. All those things are things, and this is a good one in all of them. And it's a common card. It's just straight up good. I think it's a perfectly good card to put into anything. 1 mana isn't asking too much to freeze a minion. We've paid more for that effect before. And dealing 2 damage to it for 1 mana is also pretty good. And it's a twin spell, so you can do one and then the other. Or you can save it for a later turn. Or you can wait until you've hit the whole board with the Frost Nova and then you pick them off. It's incredibly versatile. It's statted correctly. It's common. It's good. Next, Mana Cyclone. 2 mana, 2/2 elemental for mage. Battle cry for each spell you've cast this turn. Add a random mage spell to your hand. I like it. I love Randomonium Mage. There are a lot of bad mage spells out there right now, but you know what? Who cares? I still want to do it, and this is a great card for it. Plus, it's an elemental, so you could put it into that elemental Mage synergy, although Frostless Jane is going away, so Mage probably won't care that much about Elementals anymore. So Elemental Mage is probably going to go away, and this thing, it probably doesn't really super matter that this thing is Elemental, but the fact that it's Elemental is still an added bonus. Yeah, I think it's perfectly fine. 2-mana 2/2 is not great stats, but perfectly adequate. The effect is pretty fun. Yeah, it's a good card. Next, well, it's not a good card, but I like it. I don't know if it's a good card. That's not what my channel's for. Paladin spell duel. 5 mana, summon a minion from each player's deck. They fight. This is cool. I wonder why this wasn't a card before. This was like a hero power that someone did way back in like Kobolds and Catacombs or something. Yeah, I like it. I think it's a neat idea. I don't think it should be 5 mana. But other than that, I think it's fine. It also sort of, I think this would go good in that dragon paladin sort of thing, because dragons tend to be big, or at least have a lot of health. So, yeah, like even if you pull a fairy dragon from this, you're dealing 3 damage to a minion for free. Yeah, you might be giving them the minion; it might survive, but I don't know. I think it's sort of fun. I like randomonium stuff, and this is a randomonium thing, and it's in Paladin, and I like it. So there. Unseen Saboteur, 6 mana 5/6. Battlecry, your opponent casts a random spell from their hand, targets chosen randomly. This is a good counter card for like spells, which is something we haven't seen too much of. Plus, because the targets are chosen randomly, they could hit their own minions with it. And yeah, like, this is a good shaman counter. You play that, and they play their 4 mana frog thing, and they play it on their own minion. Ha ha ha. I mean, it can go badly too, because the targets are chosen randomly. So, I mean, if you're playing it against a paladin, they might buff their own thing for free. If you're playing against the mage, they might damage your board for free. You know, with like a flame strike or something. That would be unfortunate. But this card would survive a flame strike, and they wouldn't be able to choose when to use their flame strike. It's a good tech card sort of thing. I could definitely see it being used. I don't think that would be in every deck, but I definitely think that depending on what the popular decks become in the future, if like Randomonium Mage comes back or something, then this will be a card to use. Next, Shadowy Figure, 2 mana 2/2 Battlecry, transform into a 2/2 copy of a friendly Death Rattle minion. Death Rattle Priest, fine statted card. It's fine. The quest is gone, but who cares? Death Rattle Priest forever. We'll just have Death Rattle Priest forever. Why not? Yeah, it's a perfectly fine minion. It's better if the Death Rattle's good. I mean, imagine if you, like, it says into a friendly minion, so you might want to wait until the late game. You play Hakar, and then you play this, and you have 2 Hakars, one of which only has 2 health left. That's a pretty good turn. Or you can play it in the early game, and you've got your little 1 mana 2/1 Death Rattle, draw a Death Rattle from your deck, and you play this, you draw 2 Death Rattle minions from your deck. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good, all-around good card. I like cards that are good in both the early game and the late game, and this is one of those. As long as you have another minion on the board that has a Death Rattle, it'll be useful. And that's a pretty high likelihood, because they seem to like Death Rattles right now. Even Paladin has that Bronze Herald that I can see in the background, that I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good card to reference, because it's in the background and I can see it. It has that Death Rattles. So, I mean, even though it's a Paladin card, I'm just saying in general, they like Death Rattles right now. So, and Priest has always loved their Death Rattles. So yeah, I could definitely see this being used. Next, Nazari, legendary Paladin, 10 mana 4/12 dragon. Battlecry, restore both heroes to full health. I'm disappointed by this card personally. I was really looking forward to the whole Dragon Paladin thing. This has no synergy with that, and it has a synergy with a completely different deck that has nothing to do with dragons. Yeah, you could mash them together, but, I mean, I don't think that it would necessarily work too well. There aren't enough dragons that also heal. This is the only one. we'd need more of that. And it doesn't make much sense in terms of, like, flavor either. It's just, I don't know. I think it's kind of a misstep. It's not flavorful. It's not synergistic. It's trying to be in 2 decks at once. And it's 10 mana. There's a whole lot of meh in this card for me personally. That's not to say it's a bad card. Restoring both heroes to full health is really great, especially in the late game if you're like hardcore losing and your opponent has played everything to try to just burn you down really fast. Like if you're playing against a burn mage and they're just like Arcane Missile, Frostbolt, the 3 mana deal 5 damage, and then Fireball, and they're just like bam, 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 and you somehow make it to turn 10, and they're still at like 28 health, and you're at 2. You play this, hey, you're back up to full, and they've wasted all of their burn cards. Hooray! And that happens a lot, actually. So I could definitely see this card being good. It's just disappointing to me personally. Next, Marked Shot for Hunter. 4 mana, deal 4 damage to a minion and discover a spell. Spell Hunter is only becoming more of a thing. Zul'jin has made it super popular, and Zul'jin is staying. So, yeah, Zul'jin is staying. Rock-Dalar, I can't remember if Rock-Dalar is staying or going away. I don't remember which expansion Rock-Dalar was in. But even if it's going away, Zul'jin itself is trying to promote a Spell Hunter. So as long as Zul'jin is here, Spell Hunter is going to be attempted. So I could definitely see that being played in that. 4 mana, deal 4 damage to a minion and discover a spell. It's sort of blah, but so is a lot of the Spell Hunter cards, and it still manages to work, so I could see it. Plus it's a common, and I give leeway to commons. Next, Katrina Muerte. 8 mana, 6/8 priest legendary. At the end of your turn, summon a friendly minion that died this game. It's pretty randomonium. It's meh. Like 8 mana, 6/8 is meh. At the end of your turn, summon a friendly minion that died this game is pretty good if it survives more than one turn. But the fact that it only has 8 health, I don't think it's going to do that unless you're already winning. So it's sort of win more in that regard. But I could definitely see this causing some cancer, especially in the late game when you've already played like your Obsidian statues and your Hakars and stuff like that. In Wild, you could even play N'Zoth, bring everything back, and then have it all die again, and then play Katrina in that deck to be a real nuisance. I think it's fun. I don't necessarily think it's good. Next, Batterhead. 8 mana, 3/12 with Rush. After this attacks and kills a minion, it may attack again. So this is very much like a neutral... God, what is that Hunter card? There's a Hunter card that does this. It's like a worm thing, and it's like if it kills a minion and you attack again. But that was like an 8/8, so it was a higher chance of killing the thing, but more chance of it dying as it bam, bam, bam. This is basically the exact opposite. Low chance of killing something, but if it does, it can attack again, and it has a lot of health. I'm a little sad that it's not like a mech or something synergistic, so you could like put it in like a mech warrior and have it do this. I think that would have been cool. And for 8 mana, I think it definitely needs it. At 8 mana, this is a little bit too weak for me. Just because, I mean, if you can buff it, so maybe like a buff paladin sort of thing, then I think it would work. But otherwise, probably not. Or a buff priest. Buff priest works. But yeah, otherwise, nah. Next, the Eager Underling. Everyone thought this was going to be Millhouse Manastorm, and it wasn't. That makes me sad. I wish it was Millhouse Manastorm. Or, you know, one of the countless other Dalaran gnomes. There's lots of them. I mean, you could even have this be the return of Wilfred Fizzlebang or something. You know, anyone. But it's just a gnome. He looks cool, though. 4 mana 2/2 Warlock card. Death Rattle. Give two random friendly minions +2/+2. It works for the whole token thing, but it's way too expensive. I mean, true, 4 mana, give +4/+4 is a perfectly fine card. It's used in Paladin. So a 4 mana 2/2 body plus that. But with it being a Death Rattle, it's a lot worse. You could board clear and counter this. You could kill everything else on the board first and counter this. You would want to kill this yourself with like a lifesteal thing or something. And that doesn't feel great. I'm not a huge fan of this. I think it would have been better as a battle cry, or if you gave this thing Rush, or, you know, just something to help get that Death Rattle off to prevent the countering of this. Because this could be countered so easily. I think it's meh. It's probably good, but I think it's meh. Next, Magic Trick. 1 mana mage spell. Discover a spell that costs 3 or less. Pretty nice combo stuff. Mage doesn't really need to combo things right now. There's nothing like the flame on that hits enemy minions. There's nothing like that right now, so I could see in Wild this being a lot better, but right now we need more magical friends. But I mean, it's definitely not bad. The fact that it's Discover makes it a little bit better in my eyes, especially for Mage, where a lot of the low-cost spells are pretty darn good. But we need something to warrant this being in the deck versus just putting the thing that we want in the deck, you know what I mean? So we need more magical friends. Things that, like, when you cast a spell. That sort of thing. Crystal Song Portal for Druid. 2 mana, discover a Druid. If your hand has no minions, keep all 3. A spell Druid? That's been used before. Yeah, sure. Malygos Druid has been a thing since vanilla. I could see this being used, and even if not, Druid minions tend to be pretty alright. They're a little bit all over the spectrum, kind of like Shaman spells, but I can see this being cool. And the option of having all 3, a spell Druid makes a lot more sense than spell Hunter to me in my eyes. But and it's better because it's if your hand has no minions versus if your deck has no minions. So you could wait until the opportune moment to use this card, and then when you keep all 3, you can play it in the late game. It's another one of those good in the early game, good in the late game kind of cards, and I'm all about that. I like it. Plus, I think it's really flavorful that this is a Crystal Song sort of thing with the fact that Dalaran floats. Well, Dalaran used to float above Crystal Song Forest. I think canonically this is taking place back then, because there's a lot of sort of things like that. There's a lot of Northrend-y stuff going on in this expansion, it feels like. A lot of dragon stuff, there's Crystal Song stuff. I think it sort of feels Northrend Dalaran sort of thing. So, yeah, I like it. And even if it's not, even if it's like a different place, even if it's a different setting for Dalaran, I mean, this is still the same people. They might have a Crystal Song portal. Makes perfect sense. I don't know why I'm talking about this. Moving on. Vendetta! 4 mana rogue spell. Deal 4 damage to a minion. Costs 0 if you're holding a card from another class. Thief, Burgle Rogue is a thing. It's like they've been trying to make that a thing since Witchwood. And I like it. And this is a good card for it. Costs 0 if you're holding a card from another class. I mean, rogues just sort of do that anyway. So, yeah, I'm all about this. I like it. Plot twist. 2 mana Warlock spell. Shuffle your hand into your deck and draw that many cards. This is another Kobolds and Catacombs hero power type of thing, where this was good in an adventure. Maybe it'll be good in the main game. For Warlock, I'm not too sure. Like, if this was for Rogue, it would be OP as hell. Because they've got so many things that shuffle things into your hand that gives you some bonuses. Warlock doesn't really have that. I don't really see a point in this, other than, in case of bad hand, press button. sort of thing. Which, I mean, fair enough, that happens all the time. You can have bad hands all the time. So, it's got general usefulness, but as far as being a tech card, it's lacking literally anything. I can't think of any Warlock card that's like, when you draw it, do this, or like, shuffle this into your hand and it's a good thing type of thing. Maybe I'm blanking because I am drunk, but I can't think of anything that would tech well with this card. I think it's just in case of bad hand, press Buton. Right now, maybe we'll get some synergy in the future. Maybe they'll start getting some spiders. I always thought it was Rogue that Rogue got the spiders. Because Nerubians, they seem more Warlock to me than Rogue. Just personally. Next. Big Bad Archmage. 10 mana 6/6 at the end of your turn. Summon a random 6-cost minion. Yeah, that's pretty alright. It's a 10 mana for 12 worth right off the bat, and then if it continues living onward, then it just gets better. It's better if you can get it on a discount, and better if you can buff it. So like hand buffing Paladin would like this. Anything that can discount minions would like this. But even without it, like 10 mana for 12 worth of like cost, I think it's interesting. It won't survive past the first turn. There's no way. If the opponent is capable of killing this next turn, which, let's be fair, it's on turn 10, they'll have a way to kill this. That's not even a question. They will. They definitely will. I'm still putting it in my Randomonium Mage, though. You can't stop me. Or my Randomonium whatever happens. Maybe I'll have to make a Randomonium Shaman or something. Like, Randomonium Mage is, like, just, like, where it started. But I'd be happy to go to, like, a Randomonium Shaman with this, or a Randomonium Paladin with this. It doesn't seem likely. Randomonium Rogue is probably way more likely because of all the Burgle stuff. But, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Next. Desperate Measures. 1 mana, Paladin spell, Twin spell. Cast a random Paladin secret. Holy crap. That's amazing. And at 1 cost, G-Bus. That's all kinds of good. I don't know why this isn't in every deck. This will be in every deck. Even in decks that don't care about Paladin secrets. I think this will be in every deck. Because it casts a random Paladin secret. It's a twin spell, so you can do it twice. And it's only 1 mana. Why wouldn't you put this in every deck? Free secrets? Hell yes. Who wouldn't do that? There's no reason why you wouldn't do that. This will be in every Paladin deck. At least one of. Maybe not 2 of, because, you want to have your own... If you're a Dragon Paladin or a Self-Hurt Paladin or something, you want to go with your meta or your deck synergy more. But, a 1 of for this, 2 free random Paladin secrets, why wouldn't you? Next. Oh, I hope this is ending soon. I have to go to the bathroom. Rogue Legendary, Tack Noswhisker. Whenever you shuffle, it's a 6/6. Whenever you shuffle a card into your deck, add a copy to your hand. This is a dangerous one. Like, this will be really good in sort of Pogo Hopper decks or similar sorts of things with the 3/2 that shuffles 3 copies. You'll also get 3 copies into your hand, I'm guessing. Or, at least 1 copy into your hand. 1 or 3, I don't know which one it is. If it's 3, you run the risk of, like, bloating your hand, and that's really dangerous. If it's only 1, it's a lot safer, but Also potentially less useful, especially in like Pogo Hopper scenarios when you can like shuffle 3 Pogo Hoppers, and then you get 3 Pogo Hoppers, then you play 3 Pogo Hoppers, and then you draw more Pogo Hoppers, then you shuffle more Pogo Hoppers, and you get more Pogo Hoppers, you play more Pogo Hoppers. So in a Jade-esque Pogo Hopper deck, this is really good. And anything else is dangerous. It's still potentially really good, and I'm actually kind of happy that this thing only has 6 health. That being the case, like, I mean, at turn 10, you could play this, get the thing that shuffles them into your deck, get another one into your hand, and that's nuts. You could start an infinite chain of 7 mana 6/6s. I'm not saying that's good, but it's a fun thing you could do. I would do that if I got this card. I would do that at least once. Yeah, I think it's fun, but potentially dangerous. Like, this will either win you or lose you the game. Next. Archmage Vargoth. 4 mana, 2/6. At the end of your turn, cast a spell you've cast this turn. Targets are random. That's neat. It's 4 mana, 2/6, which is meh, but that means you can combo it with things, which is what it wants you to do. So you could play this, play a spell, and then cast the spell again with targets chosen randomly. You wouldn't want to do like Fireball on the unfortunate Yogg-Saron chance of hitting this guy with your Fireball and killing him. That would be unfortunate, and it's probably going to happen a lot. But it's definitely neat. I could see this being used in any deck, really. All decks have a spell worth thing. The problem with it is that it's chosen randomly. So in like Spell Hunter, you could hit this with a negative spell. In Priest and Paladin, you could hit your opponent with a positive spell. In Druid, you could hit your opponent with a healing spell. You know, it's very Yogg-Saron, roll the dice, flip a coin, hope for the best. And I think that's fun. I think Randemonium Mage needs more of that. I like Randemonium Mage, and I want it to stay. Yogg-Saron made it popular, and I never actually got Yogg-Saron, but I still tried. I still did my best, and I have made Randemonium Mages ever since. And I still want to keep doing it. And I like Archmage Vargoth purely for that point. I don't think it's very good, because of the fact that it can target itself, and it can target your hero versus your opponent, because the targets are chosen randomly. But I do think it's fun, and I think that's more important. Next, the Dreamway Guardians. 2 mana Druid spell. Summon 2 1/2 Dryads with Lifesteal. I'm on the fence with this one. I like it as a Resto Druid thing. The fact that it's a token thing is sort of blah, because it's 1/2s. I do like that it's 2 1/2s for 2 cost. And I also don't like the card art, because those are not what Dreamway Guardians look like. Those are Crystal Song Dryads. What are they doing in the Dreamway? I don't get that. Unless they're Nightmare ones, but they don't look like Nightmare ones. The background sort of looks like they're in the Nightmare portion of the Dreamway, but they don't look like Nightmare Dryads. And even if they were... What? So the card art doesn't make any sense to me. But I think it's fine. Like 2 1/2s with Lifesteal. It's good for token. It's good for Resto. It's bad for anything else. So you'd want it to be in those decks specifically. Yeah. I think it's fine. It's meh. Next, the Lifeweaver. 3 mana Druid minion, 2/5. Whenever you restore health, add a random Druid spell to your hand. Yay, Resto Druid! I want more Resto Druid! I love the idea of Resto Druid. I main a Resto Druid. I want more Resto Druid. This is cool. I like it. 3 mana 2/5 is fine. It's not amazing, but it's not terrible either. Restoring health. If you're playing a Resto Druid, I'm hoping we get more opportunities like this, comboing with the Dreamway Guardians for instance, that's going to get you a lot of druid spells. Like, even if they, like, unless they kill both of them with a spell, which I think only mage can really effectively do, you're going to get some random druid spells. I think that's really neat. I like it. I might have to craft Malygos. And we need more good druid spells right now. Druid spells right now have been completely poisoned with the feral druid archetype they tried to push in last expansion. So there's a lot of bad druid spells right now. But, and they nerfed the mana gaining stuff, so there's also that. So, I mean, druid spells are really sort of hurting right now in the spell pool. But if we get more druid spells, like, for instance, more Dreamway Guardian stuff, more Moonglade Portal stuff, more things like that. Moonglade Portal isn't in rotation right now, so you wouldn't get that unless you're in Wild. So, right now, this card, and by extension, the Resto Druid archetype, is a purely Wild build. But if we get more good druid spells, I'm all over it. I'm all about it. This card on its own is just fine. It's good, but it's kind of hinging on the effect, whether or not you'd use it, and that makes it sort of meh. Right now, I want more Resto Druid stuff. Next, Call to Adventure. 3-mana Paladin spell. Draw the lowest minion from your deck, lowest cost minion from your deck, and give it +2/+2. That's awesome. I love that. It's good flavor, it's fun card art, it's more generic fantasy than Warcraft, but who cares? 3 mana is great for drawing a minion, a specific minion at that, and then you give it +2/+2? That's just good. That's good. I like this card immediately. Yeah, I like it. It's good. Underbelly Fence. 2-mana rogue minion 2/3. Battle Cry. If you're holding a card from another class, gain +1/+1 and rush. So it becomes a 2-mana 3/4 with rush, and that's pretty darn good. And fairly likely. Less likely in the early game, but you know what? Burgle, copy things from your opponent's hand, creating the things from another class. There's plenty of that. 1 mana, 2 mana, 3 mana. There's lots of that. So you could, if you're really lucky, play this on turn 2 and get a 3/4 rush, or you can play it in the late game and get a late game 3/4 rush for 2, which is good. Yeah, I'm all about it. I'm all about it. Next, Lucent Bark. The Paladin Legendary. 8 mana, 4/8 with Taunt, Death Rattle, go dormant. Restore 5 health to awaken this minion. This is a pretty pathetic win condition for Resto Druid, but I like it. I like the effect. I think maybe we should have had this be not the Legendary. I think maybe this should have just been the thing. Or, alternatively, it should have been like Dragon stats, where it's a 8 mana, 9 mana, 10 mana, for 12 with Taunt with this Death Rattle. We need more ways to restore 5 health. We need a lot more ways to restore 5 health. There's not nearly enough. Like, there's some, but not nearly enough. As it stands, a 4/8 with Taunt is just annoying. It's not game-winning. It's not even necessarily a hassle to deal with. So, I'm on the fence. It depends entirely on how often you can get it to come back to life. And, like, a silence will just completely negate this thing's usefulness entirely. At 8 mana, it's hinging real hard on that effect going off at least twice. Which is kind of crappy. This should have been 6 mana. This should have been not a legendary, 6 mana. Yeah. I'm on the fence on this one. I think it's meh. Until we get A, more ways to heal ourselves. B, a way to immunize this thing from being silenced. Or C, get more druid buffs. Because we need a lot more druid buffs to make this thing worth it. Until then, it's just meh. It's very situational. Next. The Aranasi Broodmother. 6 mana Warlock minion. 4/6 demon with taunt. When you draw this, restore 4 health to your hero. Hey, sexy lady. Ooh, doom, doom. It doesn't make any darn sense with it being an Aranasi Broodmother, but who cares? 6 mana 4/6 is pretty okay with taunt. The fact that it's a demon is pretty good. When you draw this for 4 health is pretty great. I'm all about this card. I like it. I think it's a great card. I think it's a very adequate replacement for that 5/7 with charge. We want more health restore for Warlock, and this is a great one. Yeah, I think this is good. I don't think there's a single thing about this is bad. There's nothing bad about this. It's a demon, so demon synergy and Warlock. 6 mana, 4/6 with taunt is just okay. And when you draw this, you restore health to your hero. What's not to love? You could combo this with Betrug, and you get a 4/6 with taunt and rush, and you get the restoring. Or if there's some way you can shuffle this into your deck some more and get more of them, holy. And I mean, if you can like throw this out in token stuff and protect your tokens, if you can buff it in Token Warlock, which is a thing that Token Warlock does do, I don't think there's a downside to this card. Yeah. It's great. Next. 9 lives. 3 mana Hunter spell. Discover a friendly Death Rattle minion that died this game. Also trigger its Death Rattle. I don't know. I'm sort of all over the place with this one. Discover a friendly Death Rattle minion that died this game. You know, fine. There's probably there's a lot of good Death Rattles in Hunter. Death Rattle Hunter was a thing. Triggering its Death Rattle for 3 mana, potentially pretty darn good. You get the minion, I'm assuming, because you're discovering it. And it says also trigger its Death Rattle. It doesn't say discover a friendly Death Rattle minion that died this game, trigger its Death Rattle. It says also trigger its Death Rattle. So I'm assuming you are also getting it into your hand. Yeah. I don't think Death Rattle Hunter is necessarily a thing, but I mean, I think every Hunter has at least one minion that has Death Rattle. So even Spell Hunter with Zul'jin will probably have some use for this. Yeah, I think it's perfectly fine. Next. Dimensional Ripper. Warrior spell, 10 mana, summon 2 copies of a minion in your deck. That's dangerous. And potentially terrible. For 10 mana? I think it's probably a meme. I think this is way too dangerous. Right now, Warrior's not going big warrior. You're not terribly likely to play this and get like 2 Grommash Hellscreams or something ridiculous like that. Chances are better you'll get like 2 dragons or 2 mechs, and while that's fine, and you could potentially synergize with that in the future, and it is recruiting them, sort of. Like, it's not even recruiting them because you're not pulling them from your deck. You're summoning them. You're summoning copies, which is good. But it's your whole turn. You'd have to wait for a turn that you're already winning, or that your opponent doesn't have anything on the board in the late game. That's not terribly likely. Ugh. I think this is a meme card. I think this is like a highlight reel sort of card. I don't think it's going to be super good. But maybe I'm wrong. Stranger things have happened. I think it's cool. I think it's a awesome highlight reel sort of card. I don't think it's going to be good. Next. Shimmerfly. 1/1 hunter card. 1/1 hunter card. 1 cost, 1/1 hunter card. Blah. Death Rattle, add a random hunter spell to your hand. Hey. Yeah, this is good. This is like the spider, but it's for spells. Spell Hunter, if Rockdalar is going away and you can have minions in your Spell Hunter deck, then this card is going to be in a Spell Hunter deck. If not, then maybe not. But you'll hope to discover it at some point because, hey, more random spells. Yeah, I think it's nice. I think it's pretty, too. I think this is a perfectly good card. Next. Archivist Elysiana. 8 mana, 7/7, Battlecry, discover 5 cards, replace your deck with 2 copies of each. Holy crap! That is a awesome and incredibly dangerous card. I feel like this card was created from the Tavern Brawl. This is a child of the Tavern Brawl. It's gotta be. That's cool. I like it. That's awesome. I want to make an Archivist Elysiana deck. In fact, why wouldn't you put this in every deck, actually, now that I'm thinking about it? Because, I mean, if you're getting to the late game and you've only got 5 or 6 cards left in your deck, it says replace your deck with 2 copies of each. So you're getting 5, 10, 15, 20 cards. You're getting 20 new cards in your deck. And you're replacing your deck with it. So Hakar is countered. Shuffle Rogue is countered. Bombs, Boombots, countered. And that's if you play it in the middle of the game. If you're not placing any of them, you still get to the end of your deck at some point, and then you play this, you get practically a whole new deck, and you know what's in your deck because you're picking the 5 cards. This is nuts. This is nuts. Forget it. I want it. I want it. I want it. I want it. I don't think it's good, but I think it's awesome. I don't think it's good. I think it's awesome. I'm sticking with that. Archivist Elysiana, you're awesome. Hinch Clan Hag. 4 mana, 3/3. Battlecry, summon 2 1/1 amalgams with all minion types. Good for synergies. Good for minions. Crappy for anything else. There's nothing else to really say about that one. 4 mana, 3/3 is meh. But you summon those 2 1/1s. So it's more like 4 mana 5/5, which is pretty okay. Which is better than Yeti stats, which is alright. And those amalgams have all the minion types, which makes it excellent for synergies, excellent for tokens. Yeah. It's pretty alright. I like that it has a little voodoo doll of the of the amalgam. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Next. Oh, that was the last one. Awesome. Holy crap, this has been going on forever. My jaw hurts so much. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Alright. Let's do the thumbs. Where the hell did we start with? Oh yeah, with Betrug. I'm going to say Betrug is maybe. I'm going to say Betrug is a maybe. Hecklebot, yes. Walking Fountain, yes. Muckmorpher, maybe. Commander Risa, maybe. Ray of Frost, yes. Mana Cyclone, maybe. Duel, maybe. Unseen Saboteur, maybe. Shadowy Figure, yes. Nazari, maybe. I don't like it, but it might be good. Maybe. I don't like it, though. Mark Shot, maybe. Katrina Muerte, maybe to a yes. Maybe to a yes. Batterhead, maybe. Eager Underling, no. Magic Trick, maybe. Crystal Song Portal, maybe. Vendetta, yes. Plot Twist, maybe. Big Bag Archmage, maybe. Maybe in that I think it's bad, but I love it. Desperate Measures, yes. Tack Noswhisker, maybe. Archmage Vargoth, maybe in that I don't think it's good, but I love it. Dreamway Guardians, maybe. I don't know how I feel about it yet. Lifeweaver, same. I don't know how I feel about it yet. We need to see more of this Resto Druid stuff. If this is all the Resto Druid we're going to see, then I'm going to give it a shot, but I'm not very hopeful. But if we're going to see more, then I want to see more. I want to see more. Call to Adventure, yes. Underbelly Fence, yes. Lucian Bark, maybe, and then it might be good, but I hate it. Well, I don't hate it either. I don't know how to feel about him. He's understated, overpriced, and just sort of okay, and is countered by silence. He might be good. I don't know. I'm literally wringing my hands right now. I don't have a clue. Arnassi Broodmother, yes. 9 Lives, maybe. Dimensional Ripper, I think it's a meme. I think it's a fun meme, but I think it's a meme. So, maybe. Shimmerfly, I'm going to say yes. I like this card. It's cheap. It has a good effect. It's a beast. Archives of Elsanis, that's nuts. Archives of Elsanis is nuts. Henge Clan Hag, I'm going to say yes as well. It's not nuts, but it's pretty good. 4 mana, 5/5. Not bad. Alright. Goodbye, everybody. How the hell am I going to edit this? I don't know.